if you want to be a smart investor and beat out the other 90% of investors, you just need to follow the most fundamental rules of investing, and this way I can guarantee you that you will do better than most others. Now, the average investor have been shown to make only about 2% gain every year, while the stock market in general has done about 10. So there's a massive disparity between the stock market's actual returns and the investors' returns. So the first rule is to find safe stocks. And the safest kind of stocks would be something called index funds. Now, you can either go with index mutual funds, index ETFs, anything that is trying to give you the return of the whole stock market. It could be a US index fund, European index fund, etc. But the basic principle is funds that try to give you the average return of the whole stock market or a large portion of it, rather than trying to pick out individual stocks. Now, the second thing is, if you can, try to find index funds that pays a good dividend. Now, dividend has shown to make up 60% of the gains in the S&P 500 over the last 20 or 25 years. A dividend is basically a payout that you get from just holding an investment. So you can look at it as interest rates to your stocks. So most index funds will pay you maybe around 2% dividend, which means you get paid automatically 2% of your investments every year. And that will actually give you more returns than the stock actually going up. Now, the third and most important rule is to hold as long as possible. Hold. This is the most important rule. Never sell your investments. Try to keep them for as long as humanly possible. The longer the better. Now, the fourth rule is to try and keep costs low. Keep costs low. Costs is a killer, especially for amateur investors. You actually have to pay a small transactional fee every time you buy a stock, and for some mutual funds you actually have to pay maybe 1 or even 2% every year, and that's a huge part of your profits. So costs is a killer. If you just do this, you can find any index funds that pays a dividend. If you hold it, you will make about 10% every year compared to the 2% of most investors. And if you want to know more about any of these topics or how to just be a smart investor in general, you can visit investingforall.net.